let me explain something really clear to our audience, because this is absurd. We are 2 weeks and a day from the election of the President of the United States. It took place 2 weeks and a day ago. And in Georgia, who couldn't get the ballot counting done that night correctly, and now we find out there was not a water main break in Fulton County, and all that go home stuff was
They were still counting votes.
They were still counting votes, of course. The whole thing's a fraud. And what they need to do is say, you know what? This is a mess. We need to redo this or throw it to the legislature, whatever the Constitution of the state of Georgia says.
That they have failed as a state to
carry out an election. They have failed as a state to carry out a fair, full election compliant with the United States Constitution's mandates. 2 weeks and a day out, and you're finding, 3,000 votes here. What if we find 11,000 votes tonight? Or 14,000? Or 40,000?
Yeah. I mean, remember when we said before the election that it was just such a terrible idea to rush through all these last-minute changes? This is why, Jay. I mean, when you rush through changes and states operate elections based on processes that they haven't gotten used to, you get confusion like this. I mean, I'm with Jordan. I mean, come on. How many more of these memory drives are we going to come up with? And, Jay, are we going to come up with them before or after the certification takes place? I mean, that would be a really key question to ask them. But I think to answer your question about Washington, I think there are two things that they're focused on right now. Number one, this is why you see every single legal challenge through to the end, because, look, you don't have all the facts at the beginning. You've got to wait till you have all of the facts, see all of those challenges all the way through, and then see where the chips may fall. And number two, Jay, I think there's going to be a strong call for every single state to conduct a top-to-bottom review of their election process, because this just cannot happen. We cannot have it this far after an election that American voters still have not had their vote cast. We begged those voters to stay in line, Jay. That's what everybody said. Go in the rain, stand in line, have your vote counted. Well, if we're going to tell voters to do that, Jay, we sure better count their vote once they cast it.
I am holding in my hand a thumb drive that could contain 3,000 votes. It doesn't. This probably contains legal briefs. But let me tell you this. I want you to think about this for just a moment. Are these in people's drawers in the election offices? Uh-huh. I want to know, where did they find them? Here it is. That's what we're looking at, and this is what they can't find.
That's election security for you right there. I mean, that's why.
This is a joke. This is a joke on the American people, except it's affecting an election for the presidency and 2 United States senators. Like Jordan said, on the lawful race, that's beyond a runoff situation. But my goodness, David Perdue was down, 0.3? I wonder what these votes add to. He's probably picked up 1/10 of a point.
Yeah, I mean,
but how many more of these are around?
And why is that the system they're still using?
Please.
I mean, we're supposed to have all this advanced technology.
Where's the double-checking?
They spend billions of dollars in these states to do that.
Where's the double-checking?
The machines don't work.
I'm holding up the evidence here again, because there's a point here. And it's called the chain of custody. In the law, we talk about the chain of custody. When we admit evidence in a criminal case, Andy, we have to prove the chain of custody. That this piece of evidence was handled by such and such, certified, docketed, entered, locked away. Then it was picked up by so-and-so with a witness, carried to such and such, and this is then deemed to be a chain of custody has been met. I think that we have the right now to know the chain of custody of every single one of these thumb drives. In Georgia. Every single one of these thumb drives have to be determined. And if it takes a court order to do it, we should get it. Because I'm holding in my hand a little 2-inch thumb drive that literally could change an election.